blown away. Thank you very much, Phil. Thank you.
When you describe the dish,
Graphing linear functions. Linear functions have a graph that is a straight line. To determine whether a data set can represent a linear function, we look at the difference in the x values and the difference in the y values. Is there a constant ratio? We call this constant ratio a rate of change. So if you take notice in the example, time changes by 1. The distance from land changes by -25. So this rate would be the change in distance over the change in time, which is -25 miles per 1 hour. So let's look at our examples. We're looking for the change in f of x over the change in x.
I don't think it does that much to it, really, to the dish. You test them individually? But for sure.
Determine if that is
I love it.
constant.
I don't think it does that much to the dish.
Change in f of x,
The venison.
all of them are 3.
So it came out.
The change in x, all of them are 2.
Thank you, Chef.
So yes, this does represent a linear function. But looking at b, change in f of x over the change in x,
I'll never give up, chefs.
change in f of x is 1 over 3.
Needed that.
That doesn't equal the next change,
Thank you.
which doesn't equal the next change, so no, that is not linear. You go ahead and try
Brandy, please describe the entree. Thank you.
the next two.
Cast iron seared duck breast over andouille mixed
Are you happy with the look of this entree?
I am happy with this. I think that the elements of my dish were hard to make beautiful, but I think that I put a lot of finesse on the plate today.
I think it's one of the best plates you've ever plated. Duck's beautiful. Let's get that right. That's seasoned incredibly. Love the blackberries. I mean, there's no greater combination. This is better than the appetizer. What it needs, Brandy, is a touch of lightness. I'll drop the hush puppies because it's just rich and rich and rich. Put a little bit of weight on me, but don't put me in the cardiac arrest. I mean, keep me alive.
In the first one, you do notice that the change is
The greens
f of x is -9,
of acidity behind.
and the change in x for each one is 7, so this is yes.
Falafel, as Wolfgang called it. What does it look like? You want my glasses? Gordon, yeah, give Gordon my glasses over there. Look with the glasses. You look very handsome with the glasses, you know?
Chef, I didn't realize your eyes.
In the second one, though, you take notice that you have
What I really love
change of f of x -2 over -2,
I won't do it.
but in the next set,
I think that's
it's -4 over -2. They do not equal,
I love the
so that is no.
hush puppies. But
The constant change in rate is called slope.
And tell me,
Slope can be also defined as rise over run. We can graph using slope and a point. So the first thing you do in graphing a line, given a slope and a point, is you graph the point first. So graphing the point 1, 1, then you use slope, which is rise over run, and plot other points. So from 1, 1, I can go up 2 over 3, plot a point, up 2 over 3, plot a point. Likewise, from 1, 1, I can come down 2 over 3, down 2 over 3. Connect the points to graph the line. In our next one, we look at, again, the point. The point is negative 2, 3. Plot that point. Slope is rise over run. We take notice that it is negative. So you have to make sure that this line looks like it's coming downhill from left to right. So you can either come down 1 and to the right 3, or up 1 from that point, negative 2, 3, and to the left 3. So that when you connect and draw your line, looks like it's coming downhill. You go ahead and try graphing the next.
It's time for some straight talk. Most wireless companies offer no contract plans, but getting a new phone usually means getting locked into a contract. There's a better way. With new Straight Talk Plus, get a Samsung Galaxy S7 for as low as $31 a month, no contract. Cancel anytime, no penalties. It's time to ask yourself, why haven't I switched? Add our unlimited plan on America's
So hopefully you plotted the point 3, 1. Notice that the slope was positive, so it needs to look like it's going uphill from left to right. From 3, 1, you can go up 4 over 3, or down 4 to the left 3. We can also graph using intercepts. The y-intercept is where the line crosses the y-axis. The x-intercept is where the line crosses the x-axis. So if we think about the y-intercept and what the coordinates would be, x would be 0, and then it would be the y-intercept. And it would be just the opposite for the x-intercept. How can we find those intercepts from an equation? Well, for the y-intercept, I know that x must equal 0. So you put a 0 in place of x and solve. Sorry, I wrote a negative there.
Maybe a little bit pinker than I intended.
That is not a little bit pink.
And for the x-intercept, y must equal 0. So you substitute a y, a 0 in for y.
Sauce is incredible. The combination, that wine, that dryness, sweetness.
And then you plot those 2 points. So where's y equals negative 4? 1, 2, 3, 4. And x equals 6. And then you connect those 2 points. You try the next one.
Seasoning is perfect. The sauce is superb, and Gordon will agree with me. In French cuisine, sauce can count for 75% of the success of a dish. And I think here you've really proven that you were a very, very good cook, and you could make a fantastic sauce also. Thank you, chef. You're like an artist who walks on the high wire. So, if you walk on the high wire, you better be good. If you fall, it's the end. I don't think you fell here. My guinea hen is actually cooked really perfectly. Would I have loved a little more foie gras? For sure. But the dish looks beautiful, and I really believe it was delicious. Thank you, chef.
David, I think the flavor of the dish is delicious, but there are a few shortcomings that are pretty blatant here. It's clear that you still remain a technician in terms of flavor, but you fell a little short in terms of technique with the preparation of that protein.
Thank you, David. Thank you, chef.
David, Brandy, Sean, it is time for dessert. Why don't the three of you head on in?
Wow.
Hopefully you substituted in a 0 for x to find the y-intercept and substituted in a 0 for y to find the x-intercept, plotted those 2 points and connected to create a line. We can write linear functions in the form y equals mx plus b. This is called the slope-intercept form. The m is the slope and the b is the intercept. This is a really easy way to graph. You have to make sure, though, you're in y equals form first. So, first thing I'm going to do in this equation is move 3x over to the other side by subtracting. And then identify the slope m and identify the y-intercept b. So you plot the y-intercept. Y-intercepts are on the y-axis. And then rise over run, any integer can be written over 1. It's negative, so it needs to make sure that you come down 3 to the right 1.
I think whoever nails this one, might rise to the top. Okay, let's go.
And connect. In the second one, we need to get rid of that fraction because I need to have y by itself. So the first thing I'm going to do is multiply the whole equation times 2 to get rid of the denominator. When I do that, I'm ending with 3y equals 2x minus 6. And then I must divide everything by 3. So my m is 2/3 and my b is negative 2. Starting at the y-intercept of negative 2, I rise to run 3. Rise to run 3. Let's plot at least 2 other points so that your line is drawn accurately. You try the next 2.
For dessert, I'm making a glazed headstuffed fresh cherry served with a chocolate cremeux, a kirsch chantilly whipped cream, cherry puree garnished with a cookie crumble and popping rocks. My dessert is very complex. There's lots of technical aspects in it. If executed properly, there's no beating my dessert. Oh yeah, that's perfect. For my dessert, I'm making a salted caramel chocolate tart with a raspberry coulis. I needed to nail the entree after the stumble with the appetizer, and I'm back. There it is. Brandy and David better bring everything they know to take me down, because I'm motivated. I'm ready for this. The MasterChef trophy is coming down to dessert.
I care a lot about what I put in my body, and for my clothes, I check the label for cotton. It feels like I'm making a good choice for the earth and for my family.
Cotton. It's your favorite for a reason. Shop now at thefabricofourlives.com.
Whoa! You're not taking these.
Checking your work, you should have got that the slope was 2 over 1 and the y-intercept b is negative 9. And for the second one, the slope is 1/3 and the b y-intercept is negative 2. We have 2 special kind of lines. We have vertical lines and horizontal lines. A vertical line is going to be represented by an x equals equation, and a horizontal line is going to be represented by a y equals equation. vertical lines have no slope, and a horizontal line has a slope of 0. So if you try to remember horizontal with the letter Z for 0. So how do we graph those? Well, think about x equals -3. I'm going to plot a point there. So if I would have points on the line, it would be -3, 0. My next point would be -3, and any other number. So think -3, 1. -3, y could be -2. As long as x stays the same, and we plot those, get a vertical line. Vice versa, y, I could have any x value, y will always be 1. So I could have 0, 1, 5, 1, -2, 1, as long as the y is 1. Plotting those points, we notice then that it is going through the y-axis and is horizontal. You try the next two.
Hey, honey. You remember to look the Buick, right?
Of course I do. I'll never forget that. The My Buick app, now available in every Buick.
You closed all the apartment windows, too.
Really?
You're the best.
Now current lessees, switch to Buick and get this low mileage lease on this 2016 Encore for around $179 per month with $699 due at signing.
60 minutes away from one of these three talented amateur cooks becoming America's Next Master Chef.
A killer dessert from any of the three home cooks could nail the win.
You should have determined that the first graph was horizontal and the second graph was vertical.
Come on, this is your dough?
Yes, ma'am. It's
We have one more thing to accomplish, and that is
on my dessert. I'm
our application.
caramel chocolate tart with a raspberry.
So the thing that you want to do in this application says, suppose a road rises from 2,500 feet above sea level to 7,000 feet in 10 miles. Find the average slope of the road
Probably about 10
and graph the elevation against distance.
Like I said, simplified, not easy.
Well, first thing we need to do is find a slope. So we need to find rise over run. Find that from 2 points. Well, at 2,500 feet above sea level, we are starting, so
I'm making
it's 0.
they'll be dusted in powdered sugar.
I don't know if you know, but Danielle is an expert at mathematics.
And at 10 miles, we're at 7,000 feet.
How would you see this? What's the garnish?
The only problem is we don't have units the same. We have miles and feet. So we need to change miles to feet. 1 mile
Flavors, but I am going to
equals
still looking dessert.
Now, the peaches, caramelize them, roast them, how much cooking them?
In my cast iron skillet, I'm going to
5,280
buttermilk sugar and flambe with the bourbon.
feet.
4 minutes to go. Good luck.
So 10 miles
David, give it to me. What are you working on?
Right here I've got cherry puree.
Okay.
In that bowl I've got a cherry compote. That's going to go
would be
inside of a pitted fresh cherry. And I'm going to glaze it.
52,800 feet.
Cherry glazed with cherry.
Well, the glaze is a milk chocolate glaze.
So slope is change in y over change in x.
Creamy and stunning.
So 7,000 minus 2,500
Decor I see over there?
over
Vegas and the
52,800, because we had to change that,
All right, good luck, David.
minus 0. And you end up with
Japanese cherries. Sounds elegant, it's focused, but David is again focusing
5,500 over 52,800,
Too complicated, Christina. I mean, easy.
which equals 0.085. And you need to graph the line.
into it.
I made mine every 10,000 feet.
But will that make the Madeleine, this sweet, delicate, beautiful sponge, taste like cornbread?
Maybe the cornmeal in there will give the Madeleine a little crunch. You don't need crunch in a Madeleine. It will be a different version.
Yeah, Brandy, finish strong, girl.
And I made these climb by 2,000.
Sean is keeping it simple.
So you could plot your point 0, 2,500 and your other point is, let's say it's approximately over here, and connect them. So try this.
Come on, guys, seriously?
Looks like a beautiful presentation.
That is beautiful.
Yeah, it's definitely artistic all the way.
Good job, Brandy Mud.
Thank you, Sean.
There's, wow. You got Brandy's gorgeous.
Look at the plating on that.
That looks amazing.
Okay, so I 0.624, and at 3 I'm at 432 to 400, 450, so it's right about there. Connect them. Looks like that. Okay, you need to complete the assignment that goes with this video.